Welcome to When the Right One Comes, our inaugural episode, WTROC, When the Right One Comes. I'm Bishop Greg Davis. It's inaugural because we in When the Right One Comes home, groundbreaking studios. It's our first taping, and I am excited, y'all. I'm excited. I was a little nervous too. Not nervous about the program, but I got guests here. And we're not fully open yet, so you get a chance to see a little bit of the studio. And today we're going to be talking about influencers and their dating life. People that I got grunts there. And guess what, y'all? I did not share with any of them what we were talking about until we got here. One of them is nervous.
I think too.
It's a man. That's all I'm gonna tell you. I think they're all nervous. But welcome everybody, and we'll tell you more about groundbreaking at the end. But we're in our studio, and it's been a journey. And our opening is coming very soon. And the first guest I want to introduce, this is really her home too. She's actually lived here. And she's been with me for some years, because I just was told don't tell how many years, but it's been a couple of decades.
A couple is wild.
I still told her, didn't I?
Yeah.
She's the project manager for Groundbreaking Studios. Finally have a home for WTROC and for young creators and for creators alike, podcasters, influencers, it's all that. Stephanie J. Pride.
What's up?
What's up? How does this feel?
It feels so surreal
Yeah.
to be sitting in something that we talked about for the last couple of months.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, this is our first one.
I know. It is coming alive.
It's coming alive. Yeah. All right. So our next guest, and I mess up names, and I'm gonna be honest. I told Kay, say, ask her how to pronounce her name again, so I'm telling everything.
That's terrible.
It's terrible. It's terrible, because I was just going to call her Mai.
That's my nickname.
Okay, well, see. I met Micaiah. I actually was on my walk and met her. She said she liked to go with God. And so she then told me about her event. That's well, it would be past by the time we play this, but she's an influence in the city. And I'm going to have each one of them tell a little bit about themselves. But welcome, Micaiah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's funny because the day I saw you, I was just trying to get outside. Just having a rough day. And I'm like, I need to be by the water and in nature. And walking up down the Riverwalk and saw you.
Destiny.
Yeah, absolutely.
For real.
I went with God. He said, go over there. I said, okay. I showed up. Just got to be obedient. So literally, I ran into you.
And look.
Yes.
The next one, I've known him for some years too. Him and his brother are influencers in the city, and he is a preacher. He is a coach. He talks about relationship also. He's smooth and suave. He's been on my show before at the Word Network when I was there. Mr. Eddie Connor, y'all. Right off a flight, straight here. Flew here. He flew in.
Just to be with us.
Just to be with us.
How could I not be? Listen, this is what an amazing vision this is, and it's a Bishop. You are just truly an imaginative type of person, and visionaries see more than before. And to see this astounding vision, it speaks to you being a forward thinker and somebody who's groundbreaking.
You see why they call him all over
Absolutely.
the world? He just had an event. He had an event and it was packed out. Y'all see why he had them words? You see how I just put together. So, Eddie, what exactly do you do? Describe.
It depends on what you need. No, just
I hear you.
Look at him. Ladies, y'all heard, right? Huh?
No, I believe I'm a person who lives from the creed. Services when rent we pay for the space we occupy. So I try to really roll up my sleeves and give back to my community, put on for my city, so to speak. And I just happen to do that as a best-selling author of 16 books now, mentor, and then, of course, the host of the Access Identity Conference, empowering people to access their true identity through ideas, impact, and influence. And so, just making an impact where it is what I'm all about.
All right. Mai?
Well, so I'm Ikea. I go by Ikea Latia, and I have a podcast. It is entitled Unlock with Keys, and essentially what we do, I interview individuals to unlock their story with me. And because I feel like we all have a story. You have a story, I do, and your story can be the key to someone's breakthrough. And we've done 4 seasons, and also our first live audience will be this weekend. Like you said, it'll be past by the time this comes out, but we'll have a recap, hopefully, of how amazing it went.
All right. And of course, for your future podcasts, considerations.
Oh, absolutely.
For your future consideration.
He playing
I'm
seeds,
just
y'all.
saying. I'm just saying.
Oh, we'll be in here.
Steph,
So I do a few things. I am a minister at our local church, a praise and worship leader and recording artist. Have 3 projects out. One of the writers for Today's Your Day for a Miracle. Should I go down that discography of all of your records?
Yeah.
Bishop Greg Davis was the first writing opportunity that I ever had. And sang and led those. And so now I'm in a space of personal consulting and have my own consulting company where we do project management. And this is one of the very special projects that we had, was designing and overseeing the build out of this amazing studio.
and I thank you. And behind the scenes is Ray, who's pushing all the buttons, and we'll get y'all booking information too. And our manager Kara is here. So let's get to it. Dating an influencer. Eddie moves up as I say that.
I should move back.
I don't really want to know if y'all single or taking any. I want to talk from the standpoint that you're not. It ain't nobody business. Okay. So if your person is out there, just let them know. I just gave a disclaimer. if you didn't include them, all right?
Tell them go with God.
Go with God, right? So how is dating for you guys, being an influencer? How is it overall? This is a general question. Then we're gonna dive in.
I think dating is really what you make it. I know that there's so many rules and people want it to go a certain way because of the world that we're in with social media. But I think it's between you and your partner, whatever decisions you all decide to make, whatever boundaries. Some people put the whole, like, I'm not going to post till I'm married. And it's so funny because I've grown up, obviously, in this social media era. And it's still kind of new to me. Some of it is still kind of like, that is not necessary. This is not how I want to operate. But I do understand that it is a very sensitive world that we're in. So I think at the end of the day, it's just whatever you and your partner is deciding on. What do you want to do? Like, do you want to, be secretive? You want to keep it not secretive, but private? Or do you want to be more open? Because you have to understand that with that exposure comes, opinions and comments. So it's just all about what it is you decide are the necessary boundaries.
I want to start right there because you said that by accident.
Secretive. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that that's a big thing when it comes to influencers because you put your person out there, you and your person out there, and if it don't work, then it has a bigger ripple effect to me than an average person. So she's looking like
Right.
No,
I don't think it's a secret, but I think that now some people use it as a secret, but I think it's just being private.
yeah.
So agree, disagree?
Oh, no, definitely being private. But also, too, you have to know who you're dating.
Because it could be secret for them and private for you.
Yeah, so from a woman's standpoint,
It could
you
be
just...
secret for you and private for them.
Exactly.
No,
So
private
you have
for
to
you
know.
and secret for them.
Yeah, you have to know who your partner is because it could be either way. If you guys are on the same accord that we're just being private, but you may have somebody you shouldn't be dating and they're looking at it like it's secretive. So you have to know who you're with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it depends on what type of influencer you are, because for some people who have a niche audience, like, that's not really their audience's business to share that part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it doesn't have to be private. It's called discretion, and the truth is this is the information age. And so people can find out anything they want to find out. So if they come looking for that type of information, then they're going to find it somewhere else.
So in that, I wasn't going here, but this is good. Eddie, y'all, are you the same person on here, social media, that you are when you're dating somebody? Because I was actually accused of not being the same person that I am here. Not my values, but I was accused of being. She knows I'm an introvert
Okay.
until it comes to this. I'm horrible one-on-one. I get.
Yeah.
I say the wrong things. I'm more comfortable, and people are opposite. They're more comfortable outside the camera. Give me a camera mic and a stage, I'm good. But one-on-one, I'm awkward. So Eddie, if a woman says, you're not the same, you're doing all this talking and you ain't the same, you don't talk as much, you don't do this, you don't, are we the same people? Should you be the same person? Is there entertainment value in it? All that.
Yeah, I think people conflict the profession with the person.
You sound like you've been there. Go ahead.
Yeah.
100%.
Preacher.
You know, are you dating me because of my persona, or are you dating me because you want to see who I am as a person? And oftentimes, what they're attracted to is not really who they're satisfied with being with behind closed doors.
That's good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah,
it
because
again.
you're attracted to the gift, but are you actually attracted to who I am and the essence of my character?
So there's a separation.
Right. I think there's a separation oftentimes, and there's duality oftentimes in our character as well. How I am, I always got to be on point when I'm on stage, but I should have a little bit of wiggle room to be me
Yep.
when I'm not shaking hands and kissing babies.
Well, unless there's a conflict on the message. So if I'm watching you and you like, oh, show up with flowers, oh, take her on dates, be spontaneous. And then your girl is at home like, well, when the last time we went out? I mean, so now she does have a right to say you're a different person on camera than what I'm really getting.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that. And I think there also should be a little bit of grace with that. I mean, I can't come with 24 roses every single time I'm gonna see you. I'm working on the speech. I'm working on the message. I'm working on this. I'm working on that. I got other things that are pulling me. You know, can you still pull me close to you, even though it feels like everything with work is pulling me away?
Yeah, it's priority.
You know, and so I think it is trying to balance all of that. You juggling plates.
So if I say in my quotes, which I have, the right one will make time for you.
Right.
Okay, because this is if it's the right one, they'll make time for you. Because I put my foot in my mouth sometimes, but sometimes I can't.
Yeah, right.
But I think what Eddie made the point of character. It's all about the person's character. Who
Well,
are
you know
they?
who you're dealing with.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that was that difference between secretive and private.
Yeah.
You have to know who you're dealing with. Because if your character isn't intact, then of course,
right.
it's kind of like, well, you aren't practicing what you're preaching. But if your character intact, then absolutely, you deserve some grace. Go ahead and take a rest. We can do date night tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we're going to do date night. But of course, you do deserve some grace. But that character is key.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the other person, but you as an influencer, have you ever been in that situation where you had to
Flashbacks. No.
yeah, that you made plans, but something came up, or you're getting close to your event, and I just can't do it.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's beautiful when you're dating someone who shares a similar space because now it's like I understand. If they don't, and I'm not saying it doesn't work because it does work for some people, but it's just for me, I feel like when you're in a space with someone who gets it, like that's what you're doing, this is what I'm doing. So if one day I can't come be physically supportive, like just know that, I do understand. Maybe we might have to pray before, prep and, all that before an event or whatever it could be, because I can't physically be there because I get it. But when you're with someone who may not be in that same space, then that's kind of where, friction happens. So your purposes in general should just always align.
So are we saying, because we see in Hollywood, except probably for Denzel, a couple that, but stars marry stars, artists marry artists. Are we saying that we should look for our own kind because they won't understand if they're not?
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
But I do think that again,
No, we need to open it up, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think that it's a shared mutual understanding, right? They're probably just as busy as you are, right? They understand what it takes for you to prep. They understand how you get ready for it. They understand afterwards. They understand fans. They understand paparazzi. And then here's the other thing, to Dr. Eddie's point. Hey, well, if I only have a little bit of time and I'm spending most of my days on set, 9 times out of 10, we spend a lot more time together. So we probably share more common interests. And I heard somebody say that Adam had to pick the fruit from his garden, in reference that men would tend to pick a woman that's around. And likewise with women, that they will pick a woman that's around. That's why you see a lot of CEOs who get in relationships with their administrative assistant, because they spend 19 hours together. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it is good because they share the same space. But if you can find somebody who doesn't share the same space, but they understand and they have the grace, or I like to say capacity, for all of who you are and what comes with you, then I believe, to me, that's what I like. We don't got to be preaching and singing and teaching at the same time. Sometimes I love to hear about what your day is. You doing construction? What did you break up today on the road? You know what I'm saying? Just add some different.
That is not going to be exciting to you. That is, you went too far. You went
Well,
too
maybe
far.
not construction, but a whole different
What
world.
did you break up today with those muscles?
Right.
Right. And
He
then
could
you
be in
hear conquer work.
development. Yeah, he could be in development. Yeah.
It's just two
Okay.
different worlds, right?
Broaden it.
It brings
Right.
something different
Change
to
the
the
goal.
table. Yeah, change the pace.
I feel you don't have to be doing what I'm doing, but you do have to be doing something.
Something.
Yeah.
You know, and that something should allow you the space and the place to be able to create and not always be bugging me, you know, a burden to me.
What you doing?
And then allow me the space and place to be able to breathe, so that when we do come back together again, it's like, wow, it's
You think it's a
creative, it's
better
fresh.
understanding?
I think it
It's
can.
better understanding. I'm saying better understanding if they're doing something. They can't just be sitting around.
Yeah. It's going to be a way better understanding. I think it's going to also crowd you as well, because you're like, hey, don't you got something going on?
Yeah. Iron
got no
sharpens
life.
iron. You gotta come
So
with some iron.
let me ask y'all this. And we're talking to influencers. Everybody's from the Detroit.
What up, though?
Right.
And I want to know this. I often say, when somebody come, you know, maybe hit my DM or I'm out and about, and, you know, you could tell they want to get to know you. Who sent you? Oh, everybody on that one.
And the church said,
Where are you from? Who your people? Or as they say in Louisiana, I lived in Louisiana. Who you for? They say who you for? Who your people? So how do you vet? And this can help everybody, but somebody that's an influencer, you're in front of people, and now really everybody's an influencer. If you got social media,
Yeah.
you're influencing
Yeah.
somebody. So how do y'all vet anybody?
I heard somebody say,
Still learning.
No, I don't want to, because it's a balance. You go. Go
ahead.
ahead.
I heard somebody say, make sure they have something to lose.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Okay.
on the list.
That's one way to vet them. What you got going on? And let me see what you got to
Yeah.
lose.
And you know, too, you tell a lot about a person by the fruit that they bear. So, and it's not tangible fruit. Where is your mindset? You know, your level of peace. Where is your heart posture? And like you said too, Stephanie, this is a world of information. So you can kind of find out, you know, who people are. But people, when they talk, they tell you who they are. They tell you what they're dealing with. They tell you how they view themselves. You just have to, you know, really pay attention and listen. But, you know, I'm not saying you're going to always get it. Because there are, you know, some counterfeits out there.
Absolutely.
But you have to take your time in getting to know and truly vetting people out. Like, pay attention to how people move, you know, if they are really practicing what they're preaching. I don't think it takes too much. Sometimes we choose to ignore the quote-unquote red flags.
I agree.
We see stuff, because you can't later on and be like, when something doesn't work out, like, you didn't see that early on. Like, I did.
So why we ignore them? Why do we ignore them? Loneliness?
Because,
How
you
you
see
viewing
what you want to
yourself.
see. Yeah.
see what you want to see?
You see what you want to see.
Yeah. And if you're lonely, then if that's comfort, if you're not in a space of like knowing your worth and knowing, you know, what it is that you truly want, then you will settle.
Yeah, because I believe loneliness causes you to make
100%.
Of course.
two things. I believe, Eddie, y'all. I believe loneliness and unhealed.
Absolutely.
When you make decisions from an unhealed place, you don't see things as clear.
Yeah.
And let's say being tired, just tired of
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what about the person who's been waiting for a really long time for a person? A person finally shows them some interest and is a decent person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Might not be number one, top tier, right? But they're decent. It's like, okay, well, look, I'm tired of waiting. I'm ready to have kids. I'm ready to finally be married. I'm in my 40s. You know, different spaces and seasons in their life, and they say, "Hey, I'm just tired of it, so I'm gonna go with this person."
You know what's so interesting? I learned, and I thought I was so crazy. I saw this lady's post. It was this big thing about her dating a man, or he was a good guy, but she knew he wasn't the one for her. And I remember being in the space of dating someone who I thought, like, they're a good person. They're just
Good
not
people.
the one for me. And I'm like, but you feel bad. But then God gave me another revelation, like, no, you're wasting their time and holding them up from who was really for them. And it goes both ways. So you have to be careful in those spaces. Like, you know, I think it's kind of a dangerous space when we get too desperate to being like, okay, I'm tired. And I get it. We're human. Like, we ready. Like, come on, what's going on?
It's a real thing.
It is.
For men and women. It's a real thing.
You just said something so key. And I think if we came to that realization, we wouldn't trash people. People are not bad because it didn't work with you. It just wasn't good for you.
Yep.
And that's
For
okay.
me, two words
For
that make
you.
every statement true.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, because one man's trash is
Yep.
another man's come up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So everybody's been there. Where did you come from and all that? So it ain't long. What do you feel you all, Steph, as an influencer doing all that you do, have to contend with in the dating field that maybe regular person that got a 9 to 5 don't have to contend with? I know, good question, right? I've been doing
Yeah,
this for a
that
while.
was
I can tell by the way you say. I mean, because I believe that we contend, me being who I am, I contend with things that other people don't and probably would not understand. That's why who you date
yeah.
is very important.
It's very important. Most of the time, I contend with just my time and my space, like me choosing what I want to do with that space, because I'm always on, right? My phone is always going off, right? Because tons of clients, right? And so it's like, hey, well, if I don't feel like being accessible tonight, or because we're going to go out to dinner, somebody's going to say, hey, can I get a picture? Hey, da, 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 da. And you say, hey, I can't go everywhere. So my person has to be okay with that. Like, hey, or I don't want, let's say it like that, I don't want to go everywhere. I don't want to always be so accessible, right? And so my person needs to understand it. So I contend a lot with just people always wanting access to you.
That is so funny. I went to see PJ Morton, saw an ex. She just wanted to stay and speak. Her and her mom couldn't hardly even get time because everybody was walking up. Take picture. I enjoy your content. Can I take picture with, you know? And then you feel bad, even though this is not my person,
Yeah.
but you still
Right.
feel bad. So that is true. What about you, man? Contend with.
For me, I would have to say needing to rest. I would say, like, so I said when I start a family and all that lovely stuff, I'm gonna want my kids to have home cooked meals, like as much as possible, right? But I do recognize that there's gonna be some days where I may not, you know,
Right.
I may not be up to cook a home cooked meal. Even with this current live production, there's a lot of sacrifices that I had to make, and I'm like, even sleep. Like, you know, and that's just something that has been I've been mindful of, like, what are those non-negotiables look like, and being clear on them. And you have to stand on whatever that is. But for me, it's been like, okay, these are non-negotiables, but you have to also be clear if you're sacrificing your non-negotiables, because I'm losing sleep. For me, I have to get my rest. I really do. And so that's been some of the things that I would say been you know, having to sacrifice within my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Bishop, I'm realizing the reward for completing work is more work. And when we're in spaces and places like this, and oftentimes people like you and me become workaholics, We become consumed with what it is that we do.
I am.
Yeah, because we're driven. We have so much ambition. And if the people who are in our life who claim to love us don't necessarily understand the calling and the vision that we have that is on our life, it'll pull us away rather than pushing us into purpose. And we'll feel unsatisfied in the relationship because we know that there's more
You don't know
beyond
how
just
you
that.
preaching. Yes, sir. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this. Of course, the gray beard tells it. I'm a little older than you. So let me tell you this. It don't get better. You can lean in, y'all. Y'all can fool yourself and think that somebody will come along and you'll want to pull away from it. Don't pull away from it because you're not authentically being yourself. You're not, because eventually you're going to regret pulling away from it because this is what you love. So I had to decide. Hi, my name is Greg Davis. I'm a workaholic.
Wow.
And I love it.
Mm.
I love all this.
Yeah.
I'm not
And you
gonna,
have been that way
Yeah,
for a long
yeah,
time,
yeah.
no matter what
I'm
field
not gonna
it's
let
been.
it go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just but I just came to this conclusion that this is what I love to do, and they're going to have to fit into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to let it go
Yeah.
because you just said something that if I let it go, I'm letting go of purpose.
Yep.
So do you then look for somebody that you can include in your world? Am I just being delusional because that's what I
I don't
want?
know if you want them in your world as much as them to understand your world.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the understanding.
They don't have to necessarily be in your world, but they have to understand your world, and they have to be tested that they understand it. They can't just tell you and then say, "Gotcha."
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But
And
guess
time,
what?
time,
I need
time
more
does
time.
that.
Yeah.
Time
Yep.
does
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
And take it
Totally,
from me,
totally.
y'all. My biggest mistake in relationships is bad choices.
Wow. But do you feel like you ever seen that coming ahead of time? Like you ever had like just
What did we say? What
inclination
did we say
of
3 questions ago? You did, but you ignored it because of loneliness.
Loneliness.
okay, yep, you
Full
right. You
circle
said
moment.
that.
Now you do permanent things with temporary people, and temporary people leave permanent scars.
Yeah.
That's why you
so
do it.
That's so
Hey, Ray,
good.
hey, Ray, this is a promo point right here.
You choose who chooses you,
You hear that?
Oh,
Yeah.
and that ain't always a good choice
we
for
got
you.
some bars buttons or something.
It don't, and it, yeah, find that little piece of minute right there. Play that.
A hand clap or something.
Yeah, cause it don't. Yeah, cause they choose you, and there was a lot of people that you said hello to should have never got past hello.
Come on.
They shouldn't have got on a date.
But-
They shouldn't. Go ahead.
No, for you, I would say God sends warning before destruction, though. Don't say you didn't get a warning, and then that's when you have to look in the mirror, hold yourself accountable, and I think that's the toughest part. Like, you know, I have a lot of moments where I'm like, listen,
100%.
you could have prevented that. That one decision, you have to think so far ahead into the future. What is this one decision going to cost me? How expensive is this?
Yeah.
Because we always want what we don't really need.
Wow.
We do. We want what we don't need, and what we need, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want.
But let me say
That's
this.
another one, Ray.
I don't know. That's
Ding, 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 ding.
Hey, y'all good.
Where's the audience?
They so fire.
We need to be at your event.
Thanks.
But that's so crazy though. Okay, so I think that's this quirky thing about choosing one. When you have to choose one person that fits all of these things, because you're in different spaces in your life, and you might
That's
need
why the
that.
polygamist done told y'all you need more than
And
one.
I'm not advocating that at
I'm
all.
like, where's that going with this?
Yeah, because I'm not advocating that at all. But I know that
They done tried to tell y'all.
Try to told you. Trying to learn you something.
advocate that at all, but I'm just saying at different spaces in your life, sometimes you choose based off of what you need at that space and that season in your life. And then you get down the road and like, oh my God, this person is horrible for my future. But they fit perfect for where you were at that time. So to me, the hardest thing about dating right now is trying to really make a good decision for a person that can last you throughout your life, through every season of your life, right?
What conversations are y'all having though?
Yeah.
Because a person will tell you where they're taking you and where you can choose from there where we going. So, because I understand what you're saying of like people do change, right? And
yeah,
so
and I will change. You know,
Yeah,
like
we
the
even change
guys,
for the
guys
better.
will change. Yeah.
progressing, right? And that's the goal. But like, what conversations are we having? Like, it's like, because I understand it when you're like 20, 21, oh my God, we're gonna get married or we're gonna do all these great things, because for right now you fit this, the word use capacity. This is where you fit. And so I need to dig deeper though. Where is your mind going? Like, and people can talk, that is very true, but people will also show you their character, their work ethic. Like, am I really about what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I think that's important, dig into those conversations. Like, what do you see for your future? Where are your goals?
And having a discipline to actually honor that decision,
Yeah.
though. Because that's the thing what Bishop was saying. Okay, well, I'm choosing something that I don't even need. Well, where did that come from? How come I chose that? Like, what season was I in with that, right? Or was I just that naive? Or
That's
was I
because
just
you
that-
choose from where you are and not where you're going. And if you don't have a vision for your future, you only choose where you are. And
That's good.
yeah, you
Yeah.
only choose where you are. And that's why I'm an advocate for getting to know yourself
Yeah.
You have to.
and where you're going.
Yes, sir.
And then bring somebody along, because what you want at your 20-something self is not what you're going to want. So when I was married for 20 years to Bishop Kim, I wanted somebody to help me grow. All right? We grew ministry. You know all we did. That ain't what I want now. I want somebody to love me.
So did you change or did she change?
The terms and conditions changed.
That's heavy.
No, that's what I said. No. Just like
But the vows didn't change.
no,
right?
the vows don't change.
Right.
But what we both wanted changed. When I met her, I wasn't Bishop Greg Davis on TV all over the world.
Yeah.
All right? We had churches. We did church together. She didn't want TV. She prayed for me to get TV. We prayed for what I wanted, but when I wanted, it was too much. Because in our last exit interview, it came up that he never invited me on TV. Well, I didn't know she wanted to be on TV. She never said she wanted to be on TV. It really wasn't TV what she wanted. She wanted to do it together. Because we were
Because
so
that's
used
what
to
y'all
doing
started.
it together.
Yeah. Y'all did it
So when I
together.
say the terms and conditions changed, that's what changed. So we didn't have nothing to talk about after a while because we had all this stuff going on. So if you know where you're going, and sometimes even when you know where you're going, the thing that you want to go to can destroy what you've.
Absolutely.
What do you do when what you prayed for and wanted to do, and you reach those goals, and that's the very thing that destroys your marriage and relationship?
Well, where did the desire come from?
Both of
Was
us.
it no? I'm saying, like, was it just if? So you're talking about specifically for you. I'm thinking in general. If
Okay.
that is the case, was that something? Was it sought after the right way? Because a lot of times, we can be like, oh yeah, I want, like, for example, you want to be on TV, so even just hearing the way it turned out for me, I would think like, okay, well, maybe as a woman we would pray to be prepared for what this lifestyle looks like. But if you don't know, like,
Yeah. And we're not
you don't
honest enough
think
to
like
say that, though. We're
Yeah,
not
no,
honest to say
absolutely.
that.
That's what I'm saying. I only know that because of what you just said. But
But
being
you
in that
ain't
space,
thinking
I
about
probably
that
wouldn't have
while
thought
you-
about that either.
No.
Yeah, and then I was about to
Yeah.
say intentionally, no. I would say that along your path, along your journey, there are always going to be opportunities.
Yeah.
And depending on where you are with your discipline, depending where you are with your focus is going to determine what opportunities you choose. And so, hey, somebody else present themselves to you at that season in that space in their life, a different amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Those different opportunities can alter the terms and conditions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which ultimately will cause you to change your heart towards this person.
So I have another question. Just a few more, y'all. Y'all doing good. Y'all, when the right one comes, we're in groundbreaking studios. We are almost open for business, and this is kind of our test run. It's good, ain't it, y'all? All right, we're gonna give y'all information. and
Passing the
contact.
test.
We're passing the test. Here's a good one. What does the right one look like for you, Eddie? Being Eddie Connor, being who you are, and all that you do, and all that she thinking already. Mine's like,
Listen, I'm glad I ain't got to go first.
what does the right one for you look like as a man, as a brand, as an influencer? Just got off the plane from Chicago and running right here. Would the boo understand that? What does that look like when the right one comes?
It's a great question. I think attitude will determine how the level of the altitude of a relationship. I think you talked about the plane. I think a relationship is like boarding an airplane. Too much baggage is going to cost you. And from that aspect, I think it is a woman's attitude being like a fragrance rather than an odor. Because I cannot create in chaos. We throw the peace whole aspect around. Man needs peace. Well, I'm gonna provide my own. I just need
Thank
you to,
you. From a man finally saying it. Thank you.
I got my own peace. I just don't want you to disturb my peace.
Yeah.
So, and I think that goes along with attitude, with character, with being able to understand that everybody, no matter how tough we act, has a fragile do not drop label on our lives.
Absolutely.
So being able to handle me and then also everything that I'm dealing with care.
Actually, I think more fragile.
Yeah.
People that are brands and influence, I think we're more fragile.
Yeah, without a doubt.
We try to act like we're not. Anybody will tell you I'm all, I got a big bark. But my bite, Steph will tell you, my bite ain't that big. Be honest. Come on. Yeah, I'm a softy, ain't I? No?
Depending on what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It only lasts for a few days. The rap only lasts for a few months.
We are fragile, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's for a man to say that and be honest with that. Yeah. And I don't think women understand that. We need to be able to lay our head on the right lap. Not Delilah, but the right one.
Right.
100%.
And I think
not be able to don't take my strength when I put my head on your lap. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. And then don't use my vulnerability against me either. Because if you do, I'm going to shut that door and I'll never open it again.
And they work so hard to open it, and then when they open it up, fail.
Right.
Yeah. So
And
that's what it looks like for you.
Well, that's what it looks like. And I've come into a place, and I think as you're getting older, you see character has more consideration than just curves.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because one without character can destroy everything
Right.
in seconds that you built. Yeah.
And carrots without character is chaotic.
Yeah. Good.
But let's be clear, you're not doing a 2-liter.
Not doing what-
Oh, here you go.
Let's be clear.
Here you go.
Characters without courage. You still want a Coca-Cola bottle.
Does she have can the 2-liter handle my capacity?
Probably, but you're not paying attention to a 2-liter.
How many times
Don't get him in trouble. Don't get him in trouble.
We ain't thinking about none of that when we see the right one.
That's
The
right.
curves.
When the white one comes.
The curves.
But
That's right. True.
Okay, be honest though. That's something we do got to consider. We have to be healthy. We do want a future.
Yeah.
So it's okay to be honest. We got to tell us we got to be healthy.
Yeah, true. I can't
not
change
gonna-
you, but we can get in shape together.
Okay. So the 2-liter gonna turn into a Coca-Cola bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
So when the right one comes, what does that look like for you?
For me, that's loaded. I would say safety. Very similar to what you're saying. I need to feel safe to be me. So yes, it's gonna be a lot of, talking to people, shaking hands, networking, all that wonderful stuff. But outside of that, I need to just be safe because I'm very, very goofy. I love to laugh, just be myself and be free. And I want someone who I feel just as comfortable with like I do with my family. That is one of my ultimate things. I didn't realize how important that was until I got older, and I realized it's the safety piece I was missing. I wasn't super safe here. So when you receive that safe space, now I'm super free. I'm creating, there's peace, there's happiness, there's God in the midst of it. Like all of these things come together. That is important to me because if I'm safe, you're accepting me fully for who I am. And you're accepting the influencer role, the CEO coming soon role. Like, you're accepting that and you understand it. So that for me, as a woman, we're delicate. We are so delicate. Be nice. And then we talk about our soft season. Like, I want to be free to be me,
But you know what they say, right?
What they say?
The coming CEOs or the CEOs and those that are influencers as women, that y'all don't have a soft side. Y'all don't know how to
Listen.
Boss chick.
You don't know how to. You don't
for
know how to.
them.
You don't know how to switch.
We can bring them on the next episode, but for me, I am who I am. A title is never gonna change my character. I'm not, I've heard the term boss chick. I've even heard people call me that, and I was the people who don't really know me, so I get it. But no, I'm submissive, all of that. I'm not scared to say, okay, go ahead and lead. But there's also balance between, you being, sometimes as a woman, you may have to lead certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
So you are submitting to each other ultimately.
Submission one to another.
Is that all right
Yeah.
for them to lead every now and then? What she just said.
It's I said some situations.
Is that all right?
He like,
Oh, I'm a listener when I interview.
Yeah. I heard that
Is that
too.
all right?
I heard that too. I think there are certain capacities. You may be more skilled in certain areas than I am, and I think whoever you intimidate will be who you eliminate. And so I think you have
He
to
just
be
let
able
it
to.
go.
good.
I love it.
He's butter.
This butter comes out his mouth.
I gotta take notes. We need notepads.
He's
on
a
this
walking.
episode.
Yeah.
I might be great with execution, and you're great with administration. And
Yeah.
I need to lean over and lean in on that to hear that and not be intimidated by saying, "All
Is
right, you
that
take the
talked
lead."
about in advance?
I think it should be.
Because you can't talk about that in the heat of
Yeah,
it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
it's
got- you-
experience too, though.
Yeah, and you discover that through dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more
Who-
you
what
spend
the
time
sh-
with a person, yeah.
Because they need, So, both of y'all, and then I'm coming to Steph for one minute. Who has the veto power?
Ultimate decision making.
Veto power, yes, in a relationship.
Depending on the roles, I think.
Huh?
How that couple defines the
How
roles.
does that work?
Because some have a traditional method, which is the man is the alpha, he's the leader, so he has the veto power. And there are some couples that I found that really work well together, and it's that woman. She the one that got the veto power. I think it
In
depends
what
on.
home?
I think the husband
it
needs to have
was-
the veto power.
Not our home, huh?
Would you say
Come on, Eddie, speak up. Don't
I
leave me.
said the husband needs to have the veto power. I think so.
Well,
He's the
traditional,
head.
whatever, right?
Yeah. I think there's some things
Yeah,
traditional.
don't call me
Yeah.
lead with the money, and then I can't lead with decisions.
Right.
I agree, but I'm a traditional. I agree with those gender roles. Some
Okay.
people don't.
Cause I think this is something needs to be talked about. We talk about it on Clubhouse 3:00 every day, y'all. Clubhouse, all right, when the right one comes, it's plug. But I think somebody has to have the ultimate decision making, or conflict resolution. What do you call them, therapists every time?
But that's what we said too. Knowing
Or
who
call
you're
your mama?
with,
Yeah, knowing who you're
you
with.
have to trust their leadership.
Yeah.
If I trust your leadership, absolutely. There's no question
But you're not
about
gonna be
it.
with nobody you don't trust their leadership.
Exactly. So you have to know
But many
who you're
people
with.
are because they don't scope it out in the beginning.
And
Because you gotta
met,
look in the mirror where you at today.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I met some men who are really, really passive and docile. And it goes to, hey, they're really nice guys.
You're not gonna stay with them, no.
But
Steph.
that's
You're not gonna-
Stephanie.
yeah.
But
Most
right,
women-
right.
most
But that's
women-
Stephanie.
Well,
It's-
a
Brianna
woman that
might
wants to
wanna.
manipulate the situation.
and not even manipulating, but it's some good women that would say, you know what, I'm gonna take this guy. He is a great guy. He provides.
And I'm gonna run all
he
over
gonna
him.
come.
Yep.
No,
And I'm
no,
gonna run all
no.
over
He
him.
gonna come in and he gonna share. He gonna share the load with my family. But I make better decisions from him, and he's really what I mean by passive and docile, meaning they really comfortable with their
Eddie.
girl making those decisions.
They don't want them. Though.
But that's not Stephanie. But I'm saying there's some guys
And
like
then she
that.
gonna go cheat with a man.
It's-
Then she
come
gonna
on,
go
come
cheat
on,
with a
Bishop.
man that can make decisions.
Come on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can only speak for myself.
Yeah,
I'm
the lover versus
I'm
the
just
provider.
Telling you what they be saying.
So, right, what they be saying?
What they be saying out here.
What's
What
that
they say out in these
conversation with
streets.
that man then?
Huh?
From a man's point of view, what is the conversation that you have with him?
Who?
A man who is
The woman or the man?
the man. What does that conversation look like as man to man? What are some things that you all would talk to
Hey,
him
bro,
about?
I noticed that when y'all be out with us, Steph, you got to look at her for everything, dude. What's up?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's your responsibility? Because there's a lot of men who need guidance.
if we're in
Guidance is such a good word.
A lot of men, a lot of women,
And men
we
know
all need
that about
guidance.
themselves. It's some guys. I've been approached even by
It's
some guys
50-50.
like,
Y'all ain't gonna
"Oh,
put that
you're
on men."
strong. You're strong. You're in leadership. I need a good strong woman like you." I'm like, bro, you want me to lead?
I need a strong woman like you.
I need a
Wow.
strong woman like you, bro.
Yeah.
He needed a
And then-
second mama. That's what it is.
and then-
Real
For
life.
real. do.
There's
Red
other men
flags.
like Eddie that would say, no.
Sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
Miss Independent finally made her sit down somewhere. And I'm okay with that.
So when the right one comes, what does that look like?
Wow, that's such a good question. And I think it goes with me actually knowing who I am, right? And I know that I am a strong number 2, and I'm okay with that. I know that I am an helpmate. Right. And one
is.
translation in the Bible says that help me is another translation of Azar, which means a toolbox. Right. So I come loaded with all these tools. And then my man, the right man for me, says, hey, this is the vision. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. Can you help? And I believe I'm that girl. So for him, so he has to be a leader. He has to be strong-minded. I want a visionary. I want a provider, someone who does make you feel safe, so a protector. I was raised by such a freaking amazing man. My dad was like so good, right? He was a good, caring man. He was emotional, intelligent. I would love to have an emotional, intelligent man. And that's my guy. Who's secure in himself, who's not intimidated by who I am and what I bring to the table, and who can look at me and my purpose and make me function the way I was created to.
What one of the issues is with some of that you said, though, because you are a toolbox. And Miles Monroe, a lot of people are talking about this nowadays. So great that his legacy is still going. And he said that women are multipliers. And that comes up a lot in our discussions on Clubhouse, 3 o'clock every day, y'all. That comes up on Clubhouse, and that is just about all the women think they multipliers. And the truth of the matter is every woman is not a multiplier. So
100%.
men that are listening to a woman say that, there are some women, again, that will subtract, put you in a deficit.
Absolutely.
So we can't make that as a blanket statement where Steph or mine may be multipliers and can take anything you have and multiply it. It's dangerous to think that every woman. You know how I know if a woman's multiplying? Because what is she multiplying for herself? Already.
That's so good. Yeah.
Can we talk about that? Because Proverbs 31, women, we loved it. I'm a Proverbs 31
You know
woman.
she wasn't real, right?
It was King Lemuel's mom was telling him, oh, you think she's not real in general? She
wasn't real.
Well,
She was a story, but go ahead.
right, exactly. But she was giving an example.
Bishop.
I just wanted to throw you.
He's stirring the theological waters up.
Right. Put up a lower third. Pull up the lower third with the scripture on the screen.
Whenever a woman do that, I like to throw them off. You know she wasn't a real woman. So ain't none a woman like that. She ain't a
But
real
she
woman.
was giving an example.
I know. I'm just messing with
But
you.
so I
threw her off, Eddie?
No, I thought she was trying to make a joke like she not possible. She is.
That too.
But,
She said, I am Proverbs 31. Proverbs 32, you too much.
Y'all funny. But I think a lot of key points were missed in her description of a woman because a lot of the whole conversation of like, what does a woman bring to the table? And a lot of women were getting offended by it. But when you read it, she says that all of her dealings are profitable. She goes out and sorts out the land and purchases it with her own profits, and she enriches her husband. So to me, that's a woman who's doing the work within herself, who already has her own foundation. Not that she's just this alpha, boss chick and she just does everything, on her own or Miss Independent, but that's just a woman who's already created that work for herself. And I think a lot of people miss that. Like, it's like, oh, she's just this great woman, she provides for her family, she's up before dawn, but it literally says all her dealings are profitable. She sorts out that land. And then her husband is sitting, with the mayors and all that wonderful stuff. And I'm like, to me, that's work we got to do as women first. And
that's a multiplier.
And you're going to see that more now than ever when women are working and women are running corporations and things like that. Times have changed where more women make just as much money as the men. I mean, so that does, but I don't want that to be a blanket statement either because some girls are just not good at business. And
know your strengths. Know your strengths.
Eddie said, know who's the strongest in that area.
Yeah, you got to know that. Because sometimes you'll have these unrealistic expectations, and then that causes depression, and that causes a withdrawnness. Because now my guy's looking at me like, well, how come you ain't multiply?
But sometimes multiplying isn't a physical thing.
I don't know how.
Maybe I can give you wisdom, support. You know what I'm saying? Multiplying in that capacity. It doesn't always have to be like, oh, here goes some money. Like, no, I helped you enrich your vision. Like you said, you wanted to build a house, and I said, go make a complex. Go get some apartments. You know what I'm saying? Get buildings. Like you can enrich and multiply in that capacity. Because every women like, oh, hold on, I only got a few dollars in bank account. I'm not saying that. You can enrich with your mind.
So Eddie, I want to ask you, and then I'm gonna ask the ladies, who do you ask for their number? Like, you're in that. No,
He don't have
in
to
general.
ask for numbers no more, Bishop. That's what.
Them days over.
Them days been over.
They're just throwing them.
right. In the
Watch
DMs.
it. I'm pretty y'all. This is not a Christian show. They're just throwing them up there with their panties.
They come to him.
He said, help me.
Help us! I need
Don't drink the water now.
They was at the conference.
Okay.
You're like, can you cut that, please?
So you out, let's say you single. I don't know what you are because I didn't ask anybody because I want y'all to be free to talk. So that's in case y'all ain't single. That's for whoever's looking at your friends.
In trouble. No, I'm playing.
Yeah. Who do you ask? What do you go by? Because I believe men are attracted by what they see. Do you watch the room? Do you say, oh, wow. What do you, this will help some men.
Well, that's good. I think it has to go beyond just what you see. I think it has to go into the whole aspect of conversation. Seriously, it's both.
You ain't got a minute. Y'all running through the airport.
Oh, just
you ain't got time for no conversation. She fine, Eddie. Come on. That sound good, preacher. We can take you preaching.
Yeah, but I'm not about to dart across. To.
So you got to talk to all of them. You got to talk to her for 10, 15 minutes to see what she's talking about.
We yeah, but she could be crazy too.
Most are.
Yeah.
But
Y'all being crazy.
No, I'm saying them fine ones.
that goes along with that first type of conversation.
We ain't gonna talk about
When you were talking about how do
look
you
at
vet
Angela
them?
Bassett. Yeah, look at it. No.
look at her.
I vetted her.
You saw the movie. You saw Tina. And you said.
So you actually got to hold a conversation?
I think
You
to a certain
never
I
just said you fine and I want your number. Let me unravel it when I get home.
not as much
I
anymore.
respect that. I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You respect what he's saying?
Yeah, I do.
You get to that point. But
Yeah,
listen to what he
yeah.
said. This is the key part. He said he's gotten to that point.
got
How
to
many
that
times
point.
we didn't? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You fine, but you may not be mine.
Come on.
Right.
And I gotta.
That's my new t-shirt.
You see people in the grocery store. You see people walking. You're like, man, whoa. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, all right, is it worth really me doing that like I'm 20 or
Right.
25 again?
Fine just ain't it. It ain't.
it's
That's not it alone.
It's not. It's not.
It's really not.
Yeah, you fine, but what else?
Yeah.
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 Because you might just be an empty package.
Yeah. So who gets your number?
I would say, for one, I'm not in a hurry to be like, I don't even give my number out. It's very rare that I do. And I know it's like, sometimes it happens. People want to ask you, and I'm like, hold on, I'm still vetting you out. I don't even know if I should even give you that much access.
Who
a phone
gets past
number.
the DM then? That's what we
You said what?
That's a better
I said, I see. She changed it on
better
that.
I don't even look at DMs either. I don't even look at DMs.
Who gets on the
Who
the
gets
scene?
a first date? Yeah.
No, even the
But
number,
it's
because
your
now
approach,
it's so
though.
easy to just leave him in the DM and you talk to him there and then give him the number.
Yeah, I barely
what I
look
heard.
at. If I see something in the DMs,
That's what I heard.
that's what I heard. What I think I know. But no, it's about it's your approach with me. Like, how did you approach me? Are you trying to get to know me, or you're so focused on the next thing? So, what does that conversation look like? Everybody does not. I don't just be giving out my number. And sometimes, so I feel like, not even all the time, what's for me is for me. So I don't have to rush this conversation, force it to, I'm here, I'm giving my number. I might not see him again. And sometimes they be too fine. I'd be like, I don't know. I gotta really dig into that because I don't know about you.
Isn't that funny?
I know, it's so funny. But when you get to a place of maturing and you're growing and you're like, I just don't want anybody, and I don't care what it is you look like on the outside. I don't care about what car you're driving. Those things are not important. They're not. They can be here today and gone tomorrow. Who are you?
Yeah.
Like, who are you?
Yeah.
And who sent you?
And who sent
Didn't
you?
we say that? Literally.
AI. No.
And they could be typing something good and just copy and paste into them DMs. Like, yeah.
So, Reverend Mother, while you on Revival,
Oh
who
my
gets your number?
God, let me tell you. I've been like, hey, you follow me on Instagram? Go there. I don't give up my number.
You don't.
Yeah, I don't give. I don't know the last time I gave out my number.
That's dangerous too on the streets, though. They say for ladies.
Is
though.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guys now are, they cuss you out. They,
Oh yeah, you won't give
And
me
you, as the women come on, women, y'all got we have to be careful on how we respond. You don't have to embarrass a man. You don't have to tell them off. Just simply, I'm not interested.
Some of them is just the rejection, though.
And
Yeah.
some of it, and in that case, you can never control how someone responds. You can
Yeah.
only control what
So
you
is
say
it worth
to
it sometimes to just give them the number?
No.
No.
I mean, at one time I used to have a Google number, and I used to kind of
because
do that.
sometimes
but
they'll
that's
get it
it's
and then
just-
call it right there. Oh,
Yeah,
you
they
gave
call
the
it
wrong
right
number.
there.
Right.
to call
Oh,
you.
did you get it?
No, that's crazy.
And now you looking silly because you gave them the wrong number.
I'm always in a hurry. I'm always in a rush, so
So
I
you
just
just
try
don't
my
give it.
best to just kind of.
And I've been practicing that. And you know what? This one guy, he was so nice about it. I was like, I'm just not interested. And he was like, okay. And he respected how I responded to him. I wasn't
Yeah,
downplaying
always be
it.
nice.
Yeah, like, and I told him too, your line, the pickup line was great. It was
But
really
listen,
smooth.
but I don't want to make it
was the
seem
line?
like
Dang, what did he say? I was walking out the doors. He said something. What did he say? It was really smooth. I've never heard it before, and I gave him his credit. That was the first thing I said.
Some
I said it was
creative
great.
stuff out there.
It was, yeah. I told him, but I'm just not interested.
Girl, you
But
look so
try
good.
it
I
on-
wish I could plant you, grow a whole fielding on.
You know, but I tell you, it was so good. So I told him, try it on somebody else. Like somebody else
Wow.
gonna get that.
Wow.
It was that good. It was good.
Oh wow.
Is that bad?
It's so good that you can't remember.
so good.
It was a few years ago, but it was good. I will tell you that.
So I don't want to
It'll
make it
come to
sound
me.
like, because if you're watching this, if my man of God is watching,
God.
I don't want you to get caught up in the matrix. Shoot your best shot.
All right. Because at the end, we're going to give you the information.
Right.
All right. Huh?
So I don't make it sound like, I just don't even give out my number. Because I tell a lot of my friends, we're still dating and stuff like that. If you too hard to get, then, you
Yep.
know, what's going to happen? And it's a nice guy. This could be your guy. And you playing them off. So you got to have some give and take there, But
We only got a few minutes, and I want to ask this. It's not even here. Some came to me, and that is that the equal equation in all of our past relationships is us. All the ones that didn't. Y'all got to come back because I had another 6
Yeah.
questions. Y'all got, because this was good. We're the equal equation. So if it didn't work in all those X's, okay, did we choose wrong, or are we the problem, or do we need to tweak what our preferences are, or all the above?
Yeah.
Eddie?
I think that's good. I think that common denominator of us involved in every specific relationship, because no matter what, you take you wherever you go, and I think that piece of accountability is important. Sometimes your type is the reason why you're single.
Yeah.
And we always talk about preference, and we look at purpose and we put those in dichotomy, but at the end of the day, we want both. How do we have preference and purpose and put those both together and look at the whole aspect of the healing that we need to do? Becoming the right one for the right one first begins with you being right for yourself first. Yeah. And I think that aspect of accountability, healing from the vestiges of your past, not doing permanent things with temporary people, and then not being so impulsive.
Yeah.
And looking at all that and see, can I actually love me for me and still be okay being alone and wait until the right one comes, even though they may not necessarily look like the package of what I've always wanted, because sometimes that package of what you've always wanted keeps you where you always are.
Yeah. That's good. So the common denominator, that's the first word that came to my mind too. It depends on what season you're at, right? So if you're in a space of loneliness and of course you're just choosing whatever comes and you're settling, then yeah, that was in that season, that was where you were. So that's why you picked the way that you pick, and that's more than likely why it didn't work out. And so same thing what we're saying though, when you get to a place where you start to grow and work more on you start to pick different. You put yourself in different environments. In my 21 and 22 days, I would go out all the time. Like me and my girls are out at the clubs all the time. And I got to a point where I was like, well, I would never like date a man in the club. So like, why am I here? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so then I realized I want a certain type of man, for one, and for two, I want to be in better environments. So I stopped going to the club. I stopped going to spaces where weren't conducive to me growing into what it is that I wanted in my future. And so, but that starts with you. It always starts with you. It does not matter what it is. You have to look at yourself and say, where am I at? What areas do I need to fix? And how do I get better? And realize, too, you're not going to always have it figured out. Sometimes it gets you dating people and learning more about yourself. Like, oh, I didn't realize that, I was this type of way. Like some people realize that they're kind of selfish. And someone said that to me and I was like, huh? But and it's a whole little thing, won't go into that, but not like selfish and like I won't do anything. I do too much probably, but selfish in the sense of like, you can be feeling some type of way. And instead of it being about you, I'm like so focused on what's going on for my own sake, not because it's truly about what's going on with you. And so just learning those things, but ask yourself, where am I in my life today? And that will help you determine, how am I dating? You know what I'm saying? Just starting with you. So.
Steph?
I think I forgot the question, but
Well, you're the common denominator
Yeah.
in all the relationships that haven't worked.
yeah.
Did you choose wrong? Mm-hmm. Do you need to tweak your preference, what you're looking for, and on and on?
So yeah, all of the above is absolutely yes. All of the above. And if I could add to it, I think that sometimes we miss opportunities.
That's good.
I know for myself that sometimes you'll be in a situation and because you choose wrong or you have a preference or something in life happens, right? And like, dang, I should have stayed in that relationship with that person.
Yeah.
We could have really worked it out, and that was my person. And then you go through a whole nother season of your life where that door opportunity won't open up again. So sometimes it's missed opportunities.
Yeah.
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 Do you think that it would ever come back full circle though? Like,
Sometimes, because I don't
Spin
believe
the block, girl.
Yeah. Well, I'll say it might not come back with that person, but definitely another
Spin it.
opportunity. Spin the block, and that's the thing. Like you got to take that loss and be like, okay, well, hopefully I can find that all in somebody else, because I don't believe in soulmate, meaning that God created
either.
you just for this one person. So if you miss out on this one person, now you searching for this one person that God created you for, I think it's absolutely insane. So you're going to have to, if you don't,
So
here's
you
the
mean
thing.
Coretta wasn't
No,
created for
I
Martin?
believe that they connected in a time and space and it worked out for them. And that was beautiful. To be in love with one person at the same time.
She keep pushing this polygamy.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm messing with you.
No, I'm saying for real.
That's the
No,
second time this-
Polygamy
Because
pride.
sometimes let's talk at the table. So say for instance, you ready to be in love with me, you like, oh girl, I was all the way into you. And I'm like, but I ain't into him, I'm into something else. And then I'm like, man, I was so in love with you at that time. And then you like, girl, I was focused on work. So if you can meet somebody and both of you all fall in love at the same time, first of all, I believe that's a miracle. So
Really?
yes, I do. Because sometimes, again, like in life, you're all on different paths. You're all going on different things. And so to be able to connect with an individual and you align with that individual, and then you all are able to love in alignment, you know what I'm saying, at that right time, that's a blessing,
Yeah.
because that's not always given. And so sometimes you miss out out on that person, and then you gotta, go through the loop again. Like you say, spin a block all over again. But the truth is that, hey, if you don't want to be single, Deacon Brown told me this, if you don't want to be single, you got to pick somebody. You just got to say yes to you got to say yes to somebody, because you can be so successfully single. You can fall in love with yourself, make all of these changes, good with making your decisions, good with being alone, good with going to restaurants. I know I'm good. I'm good by myself, right? And then one day you got to say, okay, well, cool. If I don't want to spend the rest of my life like this single, I got to say yes to somebody. So then you got to say, well, what am I willing to share? What am I willing to compromise, right? So that I can live a life with another individual.
And the longer you stay single,
the
less you're willing to compromise.
You're willing to compromise.
You get set
My point.
in your ways.
Yes, sir. 100%.
Like, don't even move this.
Because you get so healed, right? You get so healed,
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody come over, they be like, oh, I'm sitting aside. No. You
Yeah.
sit this right here. Because
Exactly.
you're so used to. And there's a danger in staying alone, because here's the two words, and we're closing: selfless and selfish. You're selfish single, and you're supposed to be selfless
Yeah.
in a relationship. But you can stay selfish so long till you can't get the ish out of it.
All right.
You ain't the only one to do it. I'm a little more uncouth with mine.
The ish.
Y'all,
It works though.
when y'all see Eddie's next post, the ish. You give me my credit the first time.
Relationship ish.
You give me my credit. Listen,
The
y'all.
ish factor.
This has been amazing. Our first inaugural, and I wouldn't have wanted to share it with two of them I've known forever. One I just met, and like we've been knowing each other forever. If you would like to be a part of what we're doing, the information, groundbreakingpro@gmail.com, groundbreakingpro@gmail.com. You can be sitting here, you and your crew. I'm just so proud. Again, thanks to Steph for making this happen. And we still have a little ways to go. Ray behind the scenes, Kara, who's now working with us, and just all that helped to do this. Eddie, where can we find you?
Revolution not only be televised, it'll be digitized. Go to accessidentity.org. Connect with
like
me.
Martin Luther King is here.
He only right behind us.
I'm signing up for a consultation.
MLK behind me. I can always move forward. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We don't stop at Eddie Connor Jr. Put some respect on my name. EDDIECONNOR JR.
I should have let him
Appreciate
go
you,
last, 'cause
Bishop.
he was like,
Because I'm like, I don't have a
Appreciate you,
tagline.
No. Thank you so much, Bishop and Stephanie. This got a whole lot of pride in here. It's just
Okay.
amazing.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook as Mykea Latia. That is MYKEYALATIA. And Unlocked with Keys. That's past tense. So Unlocked with Keys is the podcast. So come follow me.
Love. I'm Stephanie J. Pride on all social media platforms.
at Bishop Greg Davis. Follow me. Go to our YouTube page also, where you can view so many hundreds of episodes of our men's show and other shows. Getting ready to do some great things out of this studio and across the world. We'll see you next time right here on When the Right One Comes. Emanating from Groundbreaking Studios. Hey, y'all. We got our own. Bye. Go with God.